Keep California cowgirls from vanishing.
Welcome to the Urban Cowgirl Show. Training our horses and miniature cows in ranch versatility. Penning Rusty and Susie, our bull and heifer. Roping Rusty with Morgan horse Semi. Training Eve to drive cart. Training Eve to work over her haunches with a motor cow simulator. Training Eve to lay down. Training Eve to harness, pull a log. Training Semi to harness, pull a log on turf. Jumping at liberty to music, making our Morgan horses our partners. Training Eve on a cow roping simulator. Training on our driveway, which is covered by sand, so we have a straight track. Stepping over poles, jumping over crossbar jumps. Training in our trail obstacles area. Semi on the big steps. Morgan horse Sadie doing obstacles rainlessly.
Semi drives a cart. Sadie pulls a log. Sadie learns to pull a cart. Miniature zebu heifer Susie learns to drive a cart. Bull Rusty learns to pull a harrow. Here is Morgan Mare Eve's first refresher session on getting ready for spring live cow work.
Beginning of a show this spring on getting ready for live cow work. This is Firecrest Easter Eve. We need to do some exercises with her to get her nifty on moving her hindquarters and forequarters, on get her nifty on rolling over her haunches, over her hocks, and then we're going to have her work this cable cow, this flag so to speak, to remind her that she's to follow a moving object. All of this so that when it warms up again, it's spring now, but it's a cold spring, windy day, about to rain, so that when it does get warm and sunny, we can work my Morgan horses using my live mini cows, but we want to do it safely for everybody involved. Now here's the tack we have on today. Eve has a snaffle, O-ring snaffle in her mouth. We have the Rommel reins on, so that we have a slapper at the end in case we need to remind her to move her haunches over or to pick up speed. We have spurs on today, so that we can gently remind her when we want her to move her ribs, her shoulders, etc. We have the double reins on today, Al Raguzine's double reins, in case we start getting head throwing. They work really good with Eve on reminding her to keep vertical flexion. And they are on a roller, they work on a roller, so if you don't need them, they don't do a thing, which is good, but you can keep them on the neck ready to use. You need a breast collar for that, which we have on our Western saddle today, my Circle Y saddle. Katie's riding. She's going to show you a few exercises very briefly of how to get Eve to work over her haunches, and then how to remind Eve when we want her to move her hindquarters and her forequarters. Let's do, Katie, right here on this fence line, a few rollbacks, which is a great exercise. And then we'll maybe do some fencing work on getting her to stop with her haunches. And while we're at it, go out into the open end part of the arena and use your spurs And your leg pressure to remind her what body part she's to be moving, in what direction. These are all basic skills we need in order to follow a moving object. Into the fence at a 45-degree angle. Then a few steps back and then roll over the haunches. Good. And we want to keep that collection if we can, but you see we're working on reminding the horses now what the right way is to be a cow horse. And Eve is a little bit stressed. You can see it in her body language, but you know, it's the weather, it's the fact that we haven't done this in a while, it's all of those things. And being that we're in the spring and we have a program planned ahead, we're going to continue to do this on a regular basis. Good. Now it is about to rain, so we're only going to show you today what it is we're going to be doing a lot of. And then we'll show you progress. Nice. Now to get that haunches stop, I'd like you to pick up a trot or a slow lope into any fence here nearby. And just before you get there, you're going to say very powerfully, whoa, sit on your pockets, use a little bit of rein, and if your toes come forward and she sees them in her peripheral, that will help her to understand what you're asking for. This exercise is called fencing. She didn't have vertical flexion then, but you know, again, this is where she's at today in these skills. Better, better. And back, right, good. We don't want to go too fast with Eve today. But she actually is quite a go-y horse here in the arena. We want to let her go. Good, and then back a step or two back before you move in any direction. Good, so she understands that those haunches are supposed to be working. Her legs, her back legs are supposed to be tucked under her. Good. That's enough of that, I think, for today, just to show where she's at. How about right there where you're circling? Go out into the middle. And let's see if you can get her to stand still, which sometimes isn't as easy as you'd like. And then move the hindquarters over so that she disengages. And then move the forequarters over at your request. And remember, your body language tells her a lot. Look, if you want a hindquarters to move over, look back at them. Good, very nice. Good. And she's standing nice. And we do everything in both directions. Oh, okay, back and then over. A little bit of misunderstanding in that direction. She didn't cross over, but she did pivot. Okay, now the forequarters. Oh, nice. Very nice, and she's stepping over very nicely with the outside leg. All right, in the interest of beating the rain, we're going to now give her a moving object to follow. This is what I call my cable cow, exercycle driven. She's watching it. We're not asking for movement yet. I'm going to turn off the camera for a moment to move the tripod out of the way, and then we'll turn it back on and show you Eve working the cable cow. So we're going to move this cable cow between what we call posts 1 and 5. Katie's gonna first give instruction to Eve, because we don't think she'll lock on by herself right away. But to do it correctly, she's got to stay approximately as far away from the fence as she is now, which is anywhere from 8 to 12 feet or so from the moving object, and to work over her haunches. All right, let's see. You step back and then I'll move. Yes, nice. Now be careful. You started walking forward before you were 180. And that's going to cause Eve to leak into this fence and to this moving object. So the most important criterion will be 180 and then move out. So you step back, I'll move a little bit, wait till you're 180 and then move out. Stress. Okay, so this is a training device, you know. I just don't move it until we've got focus, compliance. Looks good. Yeah, did it feel good? Yep. Okay. I'm going to be panning back and forth between you and the moving object here. Okay, you're step back. I didn't continue moving because we didn't have the right form. 180. Good. Oh, look at that. Nah. Okay, so she was stressed, right? Let's stop in the middle. We're going to stop the cow, the moving object here in the middle. And let's do that a couple times without the moving object. Let's see if we can keep that stress from coming out in her body language. Keep that vertical flexion. And as light as you can with your hands. Ooh, good, good. Stress. So the training device stops until the focus is obtained. This is getting ready for live cow work. We're a long ways away from being ready to put Eve in front of a cow this spring. But as the weather gets warmer, which is supposed to happen next week again, we'll be working more often. We need a little bit more swivel. Much better, much better. A couple more times without the moving object, then we'll add the moving object and see if we get Eve's cooperation. Nope, nope. Fusion. That Rommel is, you might want to bring it up. It's hitting her legs. It might be confusing her. Better. Now we're farther away from the moving object, but that's okay. We want to get her focused. We want her to be stress-free. Then we'll be back on the moving object. Good. Wrong direction. Yes. Stop. Pet them. Give them a chance to release that stress. Remember, it's cold and windy. That doesn't help. But these are ranch versatile horses. They gotta work in all kinds of weather. Good. Much nicer. Okay, come on closer to the middle where the cloth cow now sets. Put yourself about 8 foot away. Go in either direction, because right now the head of the cow is just facing towards you. Put Eve in either direction. When I see you go back a step, I'll start moving the cow, but if I see that you're not getting softness, if you're not getting 180, I'll stop the cow. Okay, back again. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. A little bit of a problem. It's okay, that's why we have this session today, trying to beat the reins, trying to see, after months of not doing this, how Eve is going to get better at doing it. We're finding out what we need to do to get better at it. She keeps wanting to go off to the right without Katie asking. Okay, so if you anticipate that, use that spur on the shoulder on the right, which says, nope, this door is closed. That was better. The legs are like open and closed doors. That's good. I'd stay on the straight back like that. That's fine if you're not getting over the haunches. At least you're getting the focus. Much better. Nice. Nice. But you're a little bit too close to work the cow. So when you're ready, you just go over there and put Eve's head at the cow, and we'll move it. That was too much U-turn, yes. So it's okay. We know we have to work on over the haunches again. That's probably the most important movement in this kind of cow work. Better? Better? Not bad. Okay, you know what? I'm going to bring the cow to the middle to put you in a better position to work with it. Okay, now you're head on head with it. When you step back, I'm going to move it and then continue to move it if you've got that 180 degree over the haunches and her focus on moving straight forward. Now she's about to, I knew she was about to turn that hip, so either, put your leg behind the cinch and tap her with your spur, or if you keep the shoulder on the right hand side, if you close that door, well then the back side's going to move in the direction you want. You have your choice which door you're going to close. Probably the next most important element of this kind of work is to keep the horse straight between your legs and your hands. No falling in ribs, no falling in shoulders. Ooh, nice. Okay, do you think without moving too far? It's hard to say when to quit, but I'm going to try to move it again southward, just maybe 8 foot or so, one rail length. Let's see if we can get her to go over her haunches and stop with the moving object. Think about closing the door if you need to. Oh, that's nice. Let's stop. That was good. And you know, being the weather the way it is, and being that we haven't done this in a while, let's keep this lesson short, and we'll plan on doing it again very soon.
Now we use the motor cow in the covered square pen to give Morgan mare Sadie some simulated cow work practice. Sadie today in the covered square pen because it's raining outside, spring storm. But that's good because you're going to get to see the motor cow in action, which is another simulated cow that we use for training to get our horses ready for live cow work. This motor cow has been featured on a number of past Urban Cowgirl shows, and you'll be able to find them by going to the Urban Cowgirl Show table of contents. But for now, let me just summarize again what it is. It's a stuffed cow hanging from a cable, which is hanging from cables up near the ceiling, which is operated by a motor with a toggle switch, which is back here in my reach, and a bunch of pulleys. And the pulleys give us the speed that we want for the operation of the motor cow. Now, Sadie has been desensitized to the sound of the motor cow. She doesn't get afraid by it, and you'll see in a moment. Now, this is necessarily a short run because this square pen is only 44 foot square. But for today, Sadie being my youngest, we're really working hard on getting her to softly work over her haunches when she's following a moving object. And I've given Katie some instruction about how to get that hind end under Sadie, how to keep that vertical flexion as possible, how to use only one rein, the rein in the direction of the arc, in the direction that she's moving, leaving the other rein soft and in the box of where your hands and your reins should be when you're working a horse and want to remain soft and use the reins as little bit as possible. So we've done all of that before we turn the camera on. Now we'll do it for you and show you what we mean, show you where Sadie is on this exercise. Mostly this exercise is to swing over the haunches. But there is a little bit of straight path once we get Sadie turned over the haunches. For now, one small step at a time, we're asking Sadie only to do like a quarter turn. If she does well on that, without any resistance from her mouth, when she understands what the right answer is, well, then we'll ask her to do the 180-degree turn and go with the motor cow. So here we go. This is a toggle switch. If I turn the toggle switch to the westerly direction, the cow goes in the westerly direction, and vice versa. If I turn it in the easterly direction, the cow goes in the east direction, and if I leave the switch in the middle, the cow will stop. And I do have automatic stops in case the cow goes a little too far. This will automatically stop. It will make a noise when it hits this panel or when it hits the rail that's closing off the corner at the west end. But it does make a noise. Sadie won't be afraid by it. She is not that type of horse, and she's already heard it. So we're going to go back to the middle, but I don't move, just like when we were working Eve with the cable cow. I don't move it until I see Katie making a step back, and she's using her body and a little bit of rein and her legs to tell Sadie to go back. There you go. Now I'm going to go to the middle. Now, you're faced westerly. So I'm going to bring the cow easterly, which is this direction. As soon as I see you step back, and you very softly indicate to Sadie that you want her to quarter turn, or better yet, to half turn in the easterly direction. Okay, now step forward a few steps, come head on head with my cloth cow. Okay, and then you step back and I'll move it. Don't forget to bounce your legs. Good, good. Yes, I heard you cluck.
Right, right. Everything that she knows about forward motion, you know, maybe a little bit of a roll of the spur, maybe a little bit of leg pressure at your knee, your thigh, your calf, and also any verbal cue that she might know to make her realize that, okay, the job is not done until I move with this object. Bounce your legs. Good. I saw a little bit more vigor there, but then again, she's side passing you. Okay, we go back into position. This is a training tool. It's not so easy to do when you've got a live cow. So we're using the beginning of spring here to do the training with our simulated cows. Good. You should be able to pick up a trot eventually after you've turned. And then that dancing around, that's just the stress. Okay, she'll get better. We won't make this lesson real long, though. We don't want this to be torture for her. We want it to be a learning experience. Step back. Think about all the things you have to do. Better. A little bit more vigor. Okay, when you're ready, sit on your pockets. Okay. That little bounce is okay at this point in her training. Eventually, I want her to keep her front end low enough so that she can get over her hind end without that bounce. Come up head on head again in your working corridor, which is the corridor that is delineated by the double doors on either side. Okay. And I'll watch you step back and move the moving object. Step back. This time I'll stop if you haven't gone all the way around. Nope. Went around the front end. Yeah, nope. We want to go around the back end. So put yourself back in position here. Take a few steps back again. Get her focus. Good, good. Very nice. And then try to get head on head with the cow. And you're in a good position in the corridor. Good, good. When you're ready, we'll do it again. Maybe move out a little bit this time. Better. So you see, we're finding out what we need to do for the next few weeks before spring really hits us to get ready for live cow work. Because if you're in the arena or in a small area with a live cow, you can't stop it and start it like we're doing with these simulated cows, these simulated cow machines.
Our cast of characters: Sadie and Eve, Sammy, Rusty and Susie, heifer calf Selah. For more information, www.cowgirlchannel.com.